So, today I wanted to talk about the North and South Node in astrology, which I find to be extremely important. And in the beginning of learning astrology, it really became clear to me that there's a lot of bamboozling going on. People, if you ask anybody if they believe in astrology, just like on the street, I'm pretty sure that the higher percentage of people would be like, no, that's a bunch of crap. Why? And their answer would be very similar. It would have something to do with, their sun sign. Oh, I've read the horoscopes and, it doesn't really line up with my life and this and that. And that is what I mean by being bamboozled, because at the end of the day, our sun sign is a very, very small portion of what matters in astrology as far as how we tick and how it can be helpful and how it can help us evolve or understand ourselves, navigate our lives better, understand our purpose, understand what makes us tick, understand why we do certain things. There's so much to unpack in astrology, so much. And the number one thing for me was, and this is talked about a lot in evolutionary astrology, which we want to evolve, right? And that is the North and South Node. And I had been a long way into my awakening journey. I knew astrology was important. I just couldn't get it. I just couldn't understand. And the reason I knew it was important is because throughout my awakening, I started to read the Bible, which I didn't have a lot of experience with. And I started to put together that they did talk a lot about astrological type terms, even just following the stars to find Jesus, right? And the North Star and all those things. And so when I finally started to grasp astrology, because my first love was symbolism in tarot, and then when I could start to understand energy, then it helped me understand the energy of the planets. Then I understood astrology. So North and South Node, y'all, super crucial. You will understand yourself and your path. So let's get to it. Okay, so I like the symbolism for, I have to laugh because, symbolism is my first love, as I just said. And so the symbol of the snake eating his tail is the best way to describe the South and North Node, because the tail being stuff that the head needs to eat to continue to go, right? And so the South Node is the good and the bad and the ugly. It's to me, it's what we kind of mastered and maybe even got to the point of over mastery in a past life, or manipulation, out of balance, all of those things. And so we had to come into this life with the North Node in its opposite polarity, because contrast, friction, light, dark, man, woman. There ain't nothing that'll piss me off more than a man. Polarity, right? And so with the North and South Node, my South Node is in Cancer. I don't know how far I want to go with that about myself, but I remember in old past lives, I manipulated using my emotions. Yeah. Which a lot of women do. And so I used that in this life, and this is a very common theme, that we use our South Node to navigate the life, the energy, the patterns, until we hit this wall where it's not working and we have to start moving towards our North Node. And so what was happening, I was using my ability to understand emotions deeply, manipulate people with their emotions, this and that. And so I got into sales. And I worked my way up to the top in sales using that. And then in my awakening, it was exactly when, now my South Node is my North Node is in Capricorn. So when Capricorn was moving through Pluto, I had the fourth house. It was hitting all of I have a lot there, by the way, and my North Node. And so it was opposing my South Node, and it was getting there, and I went through the awakening. I couldn't emotionally manipulate anymore. Not only that, I had a shit show of emotions because I had done so many emotional patterns that didn't serve me that I now had to have a reckoning with. But my point is that it's going to be the polar opposite. And if you understand Cancer, it's the feminine. It is the emotional aspect of our being. And Capricorn is the masculine. It is the structure, the resilience, the I'm going to climb this mountain. I don't need nothing or nobody. Where Cancer's like, I need everybody. I need them to like me. I need to be able to use them to get what I want. And, otherwise I can't make it. Capricorn's like, I'm going to make it on my own. I don't need nobody. It's very opposite. And so the North and South Node is to balance our polarities. Why? This is the question of the hour. Why? Because if we balance our polarities within ourselves, we become a Holy Spirit. I needed Capricorn to teach me the hard lessons of my detriment in my Cancer energy. Once you master something, if you don't have accountability or a polarity or something happen, you can start to use it to manipulate. And we know that in this reality. So what happens with our North and South Node is our whole lives we will use what we're comfortable with. Our South Node is very comfortable. We mastered it. And then there'll come a point where it will only take us so far. Like, it's almost like people will stop falling for what we were good at. And then we'll start to question, wait, there has to be a different way because nothing's working. And that's a clear indication that your soul's like, yep, that's enough South Node stuff for you. You need to get that snake eating the tail and start fulfilling this North Node stuff, right? And so hard transition for me because of the houses it's in too, but we're not going to talk about houses right now. We're just going to talk about the fact that, okay, I had to move out of that just living my whole life in an emotional way. A lot of awakening people kind of do that. They think, oh, I can just law of attraction and float off and love everybody and this and that. And then guess what happened? We lost all the structure. Our whole country's falling apart. Capricorn is structure. Cancer, not so much. Yeah, it's more about emotional fulfillment. And if I can manipulate people to do the structure for me, great. But see, in this life, it was like, nope, ain't nobody going to do it for you, girl. You're going to have to learn. You need some structure. And I wasn't good at that at all. I had an assistant. I did well in sales. I didn't have to structure anything. My ex-husband watched the kids. He was stay-at-home dad. We had maids. I had no capability of structure in my life at all. I had been raised bouncing around homes, foster homes, nobody teaching me nothing. Left school, 7th grade, done, no structure. But I worked my way up to CEO, y'all. And that's when it fell apart. Because I started to realize that at this level, emotional manipulation is not working. I need some structure. And so if we looked at all of the houses, so Aries, Libra. Aries is about self, me, 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 me. If you had a South Node in Aries, you're going to be a very selfish person. And it's all about you and what you can do. And then as you mastered Aries, you started to realize that, I don't have to care about other people. It's a fire sign. And it's all about identity. Yeah, you just realize, and what I mean by fire sign, by the way, is just, it's more about passion, creativity. It's not much about like emotional contentment and things like that. And, each sign has a detriment and a benefit. In Aries, it's really about the self, but in its highest potential, it'll be creative, passionate for everybody, right? Because it is on the axis with Libra. And that's why these polarities have to be integrated so we can become whole in both. We can't just have one. And so what happens is we start to master Aries, we can just get to Aries, which is ruled by Mars, and we can become selfish and aggressive and angry and me against the world type vibe, right? Think about that. You know, identity, first house, Aries, me against the world. And then its axis is Libra, which is about justice and togetherness and, you know, loving your fellow man. And just, you know, and on its detriment, it can be super codependent and super people pleasing. Opposite Aries, not people pleasing. So you can see if you had a north and a south node on that axis, why, and that's the only thing I want you to understand, why it's so important, because they're opposite polarities that are helping you understand both so you can become whole again. And I think you wrote your blueprint to be the polarities that are going to give you the most optimal growth to get back to wholeness or union with yourself. Because we're polarized extremely. This is the third dimension. And so in learning through contrast, which is our negatives, help us understand how we could be better. So the dark is important. You know, don't beat up that the world's a bad place. God's got this, or the universe got this. And I want you to also know, I didn't know I was emotionally manipulating people. I wasn't aware of my gifts, myself. No, none of that. But through self-awareness, it was very confronting, because then the universe wasn't letting me emotionally manipulate or get my way as that North Node energy started to get more and more activated. And then I had to figure out how to pull myself together, because I was over there whining like a brat to get my way and nobody was giving it to me. Yeah. So it wasn't like a realization. I'm not in here telling you I emotionally manipulated my way to the top. Yeah, no. I just had those gifts and skills, and I used them to get ahead in what I thought would make me happy. And yeah, we know how that goes. So I hope you can understand your North and South Node, which is what this video is for, is about integrating your polarities. And if you're on the journey to union with yourself, which everybody should be, because once you're in union with yourself, then you manifest the divine plan for your life, your soulmate, your purpose, all those fun things. So the North and South Node, in my opinion, are very important, because they can help you understand yourself at a deep level, especially the houses. And I'll just share this last tidbit about me so you can understand especially the houses, because my South Node in Cancer was in my 10th house, house of career. And my 4th house, Capricorn, is about family, roots, structures. It's at the bottom of the chart. It's the structure. It's the foundation. I told you, my husband was raising my family. So important. Very important. And I just wanted to make a video on that, because, you know, I do use that in my coaching for that, in your Saturn placement and your rising, your ascendant. Super important, because your ascendant tells you all the houses. So that's why you need your birth time. But that's a lot of astrology jargon, and all I wanted to tell you is how important the North and South Node is. So pull out your chart and take a look, and look at the benefits of all of it in the South Node, and look at the benefits of all of it in the North Node, and know that your North Node is something that you don't understand completely, you're not comfortable doing, and that's what you want to use to ascend and get to wholeness. All right, so hope this video helps. Just a little tangent on North and South Node. If you liked it, please like, share, subscribe. And until next time, take care.